Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. This is kind of a word, but not really, but kind of. I wanted to share this because I think that, as you get older, you start to see things and you start to see why people are where they are in their lives. And I just want to say to anyone who is listening to this, who feels like they are stuck, who feels like they cannot move, who feels like no one is supporting them, I just want you to know you are supported. You are not stuck. You can move, literally and figuratively. Some people are not moving in their mind. Their mind is stagnant. There are some people who physically cannot move because they feel like they have to stay in the same city. They feel like they have to be in a space that they know that they've outgrown. I knew that I had outgrown being in Georgia. It was 10 long years, and I knew that I had outgrown that space. I knew that I had to plant and make a life in an area that felt familiar to me, felt like home to me. And I think that going through the pandemic really made that impact. It really made an impact. Not being closer to family, not being able to jump in a car and get to family in less than an hour. I love the fact of being able to do that. I didn't live in the Northeast really in my adult years. I moved to the DC area a couple years after college. So I never really lived through my adult years in and around where I was born or where I grew up. Definitely not in the tri-state area. I did everything pretty much down south. I know people don't consider Maryland, DC to be down south, but it's the mid-Atlantic on your way to your south adjacent, basically. And then 10 years living in the deep south. I know a lot of people don't like the deep south, phrase, but that's what it is. And you realize a lot of things. It wasn't quite where I wanted to be, but it taught me a lot. And I came back with a lot of realizations about where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do with my life. And even just being in an area that didn't agree with me, let's keep it a buck. Georgia's a red state, and that's not what I support, but it was interesting. But I had to have that experience to be able to understand what I don't want going forward, because when you stay stagnant in a space, it also wastes a lot of time. I've also seen a lot of our elders, whether it's within family and outside of family, that just feel like they can't go anywhere and do anything. They're just stuck in the house every day, complaining about everything that's going on around them, complaining about this is not happening, that's not happening. Oh, look what they're doing in Florida. Oh, look at it. But you're not doing anything to spice up your life. You know what I mean? I did a lot of traveling in my 20s and my 30s, been to different countries, experienced different cultures, all that sort of stuff. If you have a little extra in the bank, take that trip. You know what I'm saying? Put some stamps on your passport and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't be afraid to fly, literally and figuratively. I know so many people that are so afraid to fly on an airplane that they will never see another country in their lifetime because they're too afraid to even fly. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I'm so glad that my parents, who, to be honest, were not really big fans of flying a whole lot of places, but they never put the fear in us kids that we are not afraid to travel. We're not afraid to see the world. I've been to different countries. My sister has been to different countries, especially in Europe. You can't be afraid. You can't just be like, well, this is the way I've always done it, so I'm just going to keep doing it this way. No, do something different. You don't have to do it the cookie cutter way. I even realized that too with clients. It's like, I said to myself in 2022 that I no longer will take on clients who don't want to do the work. I'm no longer going to take on clients who are cookie cutter. I'm no longer going to take on clients that don't want to think beyond the perimeter of the box that they're looking in. I want clients that are out of the box thinkers. I want clients that are just, let's do this. They don't even bat an eye when you come to them with what seems to be an off-the-wall idea, but it's perfect for their brand. Because I want my clients to be successful. And in my opinion, and it is just my opinion, to be successful, you gotta do things that you haven't done before. You can't do the same run-of-the-mill thing all the time and expect that things are gonna be different. You plant carrots, you're gonna get carrots. You plant peas, you're gonna get peas. You know what I mean? And that's what everybody does. So plant something different this year. Put down some roots somewhere. Invest in a business. Invest maybe in a franchise. Start taking the ends. You get your taxes back. Your taxes is money that you didn't even know you were necessarily going to get. That's extra. Take that and put that into some investments. Take a few risks. Now, let me just say this. Disclaimer. Talk to your financial people. And of course, risks are going to be very different depending on what part of life you're in. I used to take a lot of risky investments and move my money around all over the place when I was in my 20s. Now, my risks are much lower because I'm looking more at, retirement time. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I say retirement, of course, we know retirement is in the 60s, but I'm 20 years from that. But I am being smarter about my risky investments. Whereas in my 20s, I didn't care. Sit down and if you work a 9 to 5, sit down and talk to your 401k reps. Read up on all that paperwork and make sure that you're taking every advantage that you can. I just reorganize all of my bank cards and credit cards to make sure that I only do purchases on cards that are going to earn me money. If you have rewards cards, if you don't have rewards cards, you need to look into that. This is just my personal advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you. These are things that I literally have done in the last couple of years, and it has been amazing. If you're going to spend all that money on rent, pay that rent on that card, and then when you have the money to come in from that paycheck, take that money and pay it off. Have a card that you pay off every single month, because what that's going to do is that is going to jump your FICO score so high. So you have a card, and let's say you have like $3,000 worth of, bills every month. That includes your rent and all the other miscellaneous things, right? When you get your money in, when you get your paycheck, take that paycheck and slap that $3,000 on that card. Keep paying it down. Have next to no balance on that card. Keep your percentage low. They say 30%, but I feel like 30% is too high. Stay under 10% on those cards, on those credit cards. If you can put it at zero, put it at zero. If you charge on it, pay it down. Pay it off every month if you can. That's even better. In other words, just be smart about those finances. If you have been struggling, try to think of out of the box ways for you to make money and save money and just be smarter this time around. It's a brand new year, and we don't have to do the things that we were doing before. I was kind of mad at myself that I really didn't sit down and financially break things down that I'm earning off of what you spend. You should always be earning somewhere in the background. It's the makings of a lot of these millionaires. They have a lot of irons in the fire, and not always huge irons, just little ones here and there. And most millionaires that I see, in all different types of sectors, genres, or whatever, they're always waiting. They love the build. I don't know what word I'm really looking for there. I think they don't mind slow progression. You can't just get in with the get rich quick scheme type of thing. True millionaires that have stayed wealthy over a great span of time, over their lifetime into the next generation, they were always building slowly and steady in the background. And that's really where the pluses are, when it comes to finances. Build steady and slowly in the background. And I'm telling you, it makes such a huge difference, because you can get a large windfall of money and blow it all if you don't have the proper, financial advice, the proper financial direction. So again, I am not a financial guru of any sort. I am just explaining to you what I have done and the changes that I have made that have been a tremendous change for me. You have to do what is best for you, especially if you have children, you have kids in college, or, on the come up and that sort of thing. You have to do what works best for your family. But I will tell you this: invest in a financial advisor if you can, or start going on the web, start going on YouTube, start Googling and start reading up on, some of these really great financial advice. Several different approaches. Don't just take the one approach and roll with it. Read over several different people and kind of find, the thing that's common among them. And I'm telling you, slow and steady definitely does win the race. So you guys, again, we're in a new year. We can make changes. You don't have to stay stuck. Don't be afraid to get out there and fly, literally and figuratively. Okay? Travel more, see the world, experience other places than where you grew up. Experience other things other than your immediate circle. Sometimes we have to break out of that constant habit And what's amazing too, if you have those ride or die people, not those folks that came along and kept it popping here and there. I'm talking about your ride or die people. Bring them with you. If they're ready to make change, bring them with you. It's amazing when you can get to the next level with the people who have been there, who may not always understand your method, may not always say, yeah, do it. They may have had their reservations, but they still said, you know what, I'm going to support you because I want to see you win. Bring those people along if they're ready, and the ride is even sweeter. I promise you. All right, you guys, can you believe this is episode 510? We're going to keep this thing going. I'm promising you that I'm going to at least get one episode out a week. And we've been keeping that promise going. All right. Because when you turn around, January is already halfway over. So you guys, I'll talk to you soon. If you want to catch me on social media, you can at Onyx Queen Media. I'm on Instagram most of the time. Talk to you later, you guys. Bye.